let's do build. Let's do the build. So, um, if folks aren't familiar, we have a new loadout function inside of Destiny 2. It's pretty straightforward where you can just click to save a new loadout that you have, and it's going to save the whole loadout from all of your armor pieces and the mods that you have set up alongside your weapons. And so what I want to do is just quickly go through kind of this build is kind of already 7 out of 10 of the way there. And so we're just going to fine tune it a little bit. The basis of this build is going to be around ambient, abiante, whatever that word, leap. They are legs for the Titan. Actually, let's look at that real quick. Look at that, and I got the matte black shader on there, so we looking real cute. Look at the bottoms of my shoe, looking like some red bottoms. Yes. I got these from finishing up the legendary solo legendary campaign for Lightfall, and it says Puppeteer's Control. So this is the perk for this armor piece. It says that word lash spawns 2 additional projectiles. So again, Titans have a shield, and when I do my shield, which is my class ability, I get additional projectiles, the little green things that will flash out from my shield, and then they will track the targets, and then they will suspend them. So not only do I have that ability, but this allows them to go more aggressively, so the tracking is a little bit harder towards those targets, and then also will go farther. So we'll see. I'll show you when we get into some strikes what that looks like. And then again, getting woven mail. Woven mail is just an additional overshield essentially, and it's really helpful in terms of what we're able to do here. And so with that, I am pairing this with a arc weapon surge, void weapon surge, as you can see. In terms of, I have the shotgun, which is super helpful for up close encounters. This is a new shotgun from the Brood of Nightmares raid, and then I have my Wendigo Adept from Grandmaster Lightfall's last season, and so really good. Explosive light is really good. And then I also have a Strand weapon. The reason why I want the Strand weapon is when we look into my Strand kit, again, we have our shield, we have catapult lift. Yeah, I'm gonna keep catapult on. We have the blade melees, we have shackle grenades. I prefer shackle versus grapple, because grapple really doesn't give you a lot of benefit other than movement, and we want to be able to have more viability for taking down enemies. And so between that and threatlings, there is a threatling build, but I think, you know, I just don't have the brain capacity to really like think through that right now. Maybe I will later, who knows. But the 2 aspects that I am rolling with, and again, the only 2 aspects we have are lash, that word, where again, you activate the class ability, my shield, and it creates a ripple on the ground that suspends targets and lifts them up in the air. It's really helpful for all champions in terms of if you've ran out of ammo for overload, unstop, whatever, but specifically it's really good for unstop. And then into the fray. So into the fray is that when folks die to Strand and then the tangle is produced, if I destroy that tangle, I then get woven mail, again, that armor that we were talking about. So I get it, as well as my allies get it, folks who are on my fire team. And then the 3 aspects, so those aspects, these are fragments, and 4 fragments, words are everywhere tonight, are thread of binding, super final blows emit a suspending burst. So again, for me, not only do you get a benefit to resilience, but also I really like this because the super is really good. In my opinion, one of the best supers of all the 3 classes between hunters, warlocks, and titans. And being able to proc this benefit is super easy in terms of getting the kill, doing that suspending burst, and that suspending burst suspends other targets. So it's really good for like a snowball looping effect. Finisher final blows create threat lanes, again, just super helpful in terms of controlling a room. Is that if I feel myself starting to get overwhelmed and an enemy is low enough to finish, I can hit the finisher move, it increased my recovery in terms of stats, but then also creates threat lanes. Threat lanes can then do damage to more enemies, so on and so forth. Activating my grenade ability, again, we have the shackle grenade, which is, again, suspending targets. If you see the theme here is we want to continue to suspend targets because there's other builds you can do, but I prefer suspending in the realm of suspending allows me more opportunities to create more opportunities for my other teammates to survive and have opportunities to get kills. But also for me, when we're suspending targets, if I'm, again, feeling overwhelmed, I'm backed into a corner, I suspend them. They're out of mind, out of sight. I don't have to worry about taking damage from them anymore, and I can focus on other things that can either help me recover my health or do other things. So again, when I throw my shackle grenade, it reloads my weapons, which is really nice. And then the last one is Strand weapon. Final blows have a chance to create threat lane. So again, as you all see, I have the sidearm that is from the new raid. LOL, I forgot my words. And so I have that attached as well. So I'll be using that to shoot tangles, to shoot suspended enemies, things like that. So that's the whole kit. Want to tighten this up a little bit. Harmonic resonance. No, because I think, yeah, let's just take all these off for right now. I like having void resist just because right now void, we can attack by tormentors. You know, there's just a lot of things that give a void damage resist. So even though I have 100 resil, I still want to have some additional resistance to help me survive. And so when I'm thinking about the suspend build, there's a couple different ways we can go about it. I can increase the ammo that I have for my sidearm if we want to go that route. Or we're thinking about a couple different things. We have charged up. So I have additional armor charges from picking up orbs, have font of endurance, or again, bonus to resilience when I get those armor charges, or where shields are broken, gain temporary damage reduction. And so if I'm thinking about being up close and personal in the enemy's phase, I am going to go a little bit more with, again, emergency reinforcement of being able to have that additional armor piece to that. The last thing I want here is typically I would go with concussive dampener, because if you played Destiny 2, you know that like every boss has a stomp mechanic, and this is just helpful for surviving. But I think what I also want to do is I can either stack up on another void resist, which is helpful, or I can go to solar resist or something else. And so there's a couple different ways that we can do that. But what I actually like is doing unflinching harmonic aim. So the fact that I will have my strand thing is this strand weapon is that as I'm suspending targets, I then will have flinch resistance while I'm using that weapon, so I can better take down those enemies. So we got that sorted out. We got this sorted out. Let's see what we can do here. So distribution reduces all class abilities when near targets. I still like that. I have utility kickstart because again, when I throw my shield, I'm suspending targets. It's easy for me to get some of that energy back. There's a couple other things we can do in terms of that. Finisher restores melee abilities, collecting orb power, cut the finish. So all of these are finishers, and they take away parts of your armor charges. And so it's, again, it's a cost benefit. And so we can think about time dilation. So I have more time for my armor charges, which is nice. We can do font of restoration, where I get bonus recovery when I have an armor charge. Or we can do something that's finisher based. As of right now, it reduces the cooldown, but again, as you see, I don't have like the worst cooldowns in the world. If all of these were in like the 40s, I'd be a little bit more concerned, but I think because of where we are right now, I actually want to be able to have font of restoration, so I get a bonus to recovery, so I'm staying alive a little bit longer while I have armor charges, which again are super easy to proc these days. Last but not least, reduces melee cooldown when we're using that, your class ability, or reduces grenade cooldown using class ability. Again, this is very much a class ability build. And so what I actually want to do is the more I have grenade energy to throw the shackles and suspend enemies, the more I can feed back into that loop. So these 3 pieces are feeling pretty good. We're gonna check this. We have melee kickstart. So again, when I've thrown out my melees, which again helped me with the Strand build that I pulled together, I get some of the energy back, and I have double momentum transfer. So me doing damage with my grenade actually gives me more energy back. So those aren't the worst things in the world. We also have another option right here, is like if we want to feed into class ability, we can actually just throw in focusing strikes. So as I'm doing damage with my melee, I'm feeding back into that. And then also we know that we have momentum transfer again, where it's like it's not the worst thing in the world, but again, what do we want to be able to do? Feed back into that loop. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. See you, Needy. I know you got to go. I know you have work tomorrow. Be safe. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. I hope the rest of your week is really well. And then welcome in, Cody. Really appreciate you being here. We're just going through a little bit of my build breakdown, and then we're going to get into some gaming. So welcome in. Really appreciate you. Apologies. Sometimes get super distracted. But yeah, welcome in. But yeah, momentum transfer, right? So there's a couple different options here. That if I really want to focus on the being able to throw my grenade out as many times as possible, we can go more into a grenade kickstart build, or again, increases the reload of a Strand reloader. Right now, I do lean more towards this because again, if we go back to the build, I'm throwing out my shackle grenade so that I can suspend more targets. And so being able to have that feed into my barricade, that my shield barricade that I'm going into, and then feeding into the exotic that all this build is around, again, gives me a lot of opportunities. And then last but not least, super basic. This would look a little bit differently if we're going into a raid or something like that, but ultimately, we're just doing special ammo finder to get special ammo for my shotgun, and then heavy ammo finder for my grenade launcher. So super basic, nothing too difficult there. I'm doing all right, Cody. Thank you for asking. We typically don't stream this late. I'm just don't have work tomorrow, and also I'm off my stream schedule. I'm off my sleep schedule. So we're just hanging out, vibing, chilling. So appreciate you asking. How are you doing? How's your day been? How's the weekend been? It is Monday blues a little bit. Hopefully it's been a good day so far. Lost my train of thought. Oh, here we are. So yes. So this is the build right now. So this is the build I'm going to take into activities for tonight. And again, this is open community gaming. So if anyone wants to join in and you play Destiny, just !join. And you'll get my join code. And as long as you check in with me first, we'll be good. But yeah, we're just going to get this into gaming now. So, if folks are ever curious about like what a build could look like, let me know. I can answer questions. But this is what we're going to be working with in terms of that. I'll go into like the perks that I have on all of these weapons another time. But ultimately, the last thing that we're going to do, we walk through the build, our Strand, fragments and aspects. We walk through everything that we wanted on my armor. And so now we're going to save it. And so if you didn't know, we have this new feature in Destiny. Again, you just go to the left hand side, click on loadouts, and then you click on save new. And so you can name it different things by pressing the button on the side. But now I have this loadout in there. And so if I ever wanted to click on this loadout again, and that's everything that we just went through. So you only really have to go through this once you've done it and you are finished for the day, finish for the time being, then you will be able to just click on this. So if I have another build, a solar build, other things that we'll build out at a later time, I can just click to those builds and it'll automatically shift. So super easy. Take some time on the front end to like make these builds, but then like once the builds are set, they're set. So you're in a good place.